It all started in 1981 when the illustrator Bonnie Sackerly and the sculptor Charles Musinger designed a new toy for the multinational Hasbro called My Pretty Pony. It was a pony figurine of a coffee color with white spots, 25 centimeters tall. It came with small brushes, a cowboy hat and a blanket, and it could move its ears, tail, and wing. The first figurine didn't have a cutie mark. They didn't appear until the next line of toys, though with time these marks became one of the main emblems of the brand. My Pretty Pony was quite successful, and they decided to launch a new version called My Pretty Pony and Beautiful Baby, which, apart from the original pony, also included an additional figurine of the baby pony. And this was the model for the first appearance ever in 1982 of My Little Pony. Since its predecessor hadn't been very successful, Hasbro decided to launch under this brand 6 new figurines, smaller and more colorful. This line, called Generation 1 by collectors, was an international success, and it was commercialized for more than 10 years. Only 2 years after they started selling them, they took the leap to animation. In 1984, the first special on TV was broadcasted, half an hour long. In 1986, My Little Pony the movie was released, produced by the Toei Studios in Japan, with several famous actors doing the voices. And finally, some months later, the first cartoon TV series was released, becoming one of the most successful of the decade, with 2 seasons and 65 episodes. Later on, it had a continuation in 1992, still with Generation 1, broadcasted by Disney Channel. Up to 1997, there wasn't any new line with big changes in the design. This new line was called Friendship Garden or Generation 2. They were smaller and thinner, with longer legs and turning heads. In the US, they were not as successful as expected, and they stopped their commercialization in 1999. However, they were luckier in Europe, where they were sold for a bit longer. But there were more changes in the line, apart from their physical appearance. The first unicorns appeared, some of them with removable wings, apart from 2 baby pony figurines. They also released the first sets of games with a mansion and a castle. Not only the toy line was expanded, but also the merchandising. Stuffed animals, magazines, clothes, perfumes, coloring books, and the first video game inspired by the franchise, or computers this time, where we could take care of our favorite characters to an even young favorite character and play different activities with it. In 2003, the third line, or Generation 3, came out. Now, the Hasbro creators focused on an even younger public, between 3 and 10 years old. They also abandoned the thin designs and went back to the same physical features as the original line, just a bit more meticulous. Also, the first Pegasus appeared. This generation was as successful as the first one. And same as that one, this one had its animated adaptation, 2 miniseries of short episodes, though in this case they weren't on TV, but just released on DVD and on the internet directly. In 2009, the old design changes to one where ponies are smaller but their heads are huge. The public didn't really like them, so in 2010, Generation 4 came out, the last one so far, which has created a fan phenomenon all around the world. It is based on the characters Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy, both Pegasus, Pinkie Pie and Applejack, ponies and Rabbit and Unicorn. They all live in an imaginary world called Equestria. This generation's big impact is greatly due to the success of its TV series called My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. There are also several movies and another TV series called My Little Pony: Equestria Girls, with a humanized version of the characters. Ponies have become such a viral phenomenon, not only among fans and collectors, but also as memes, adaptations, and fan sites. One of the most surprising things is that despite the child-oriented nature of the franchise, it reached young people and adults as well, both male and female. There is even a terminology for these followers. The word brony, for example, a mixture of brother and pony.
Okay, so MLP Generation 4 ended quite a bit ago, and we were left with pretty much nothing in regards to new information about what the next generation, Generation 5, of the show would look like. There were rumors and supposed leaks that hinted at possibilities of what the next generation were accidentally released by a bed products manufacturer showing 3 new ponies, a unicorn, a pegasus, and an earth pony. The art style was a little different than what we were used to seeing, but it seemed legit, and it didn't stop people's imaginations from rolling with it. Then, without skipping a beat, we were given an official look into what the next MLP generation will look like. A screenshot, an animation sample, bed sheets. Is this what the next generation of MLP has in store for us? Let's talk about it. Okay, can we talk about the new art style? Yeah, so from the looks of things, the next generation of the show is going to be in this 3D, less cartoony animation style. Now, MLP has always been two-dimensional, so seeing here what the next generation might look like is really, well, it's different. And I don't mean different in a bad way, no, far from it. I think this new style is incredible. It's very clean and crisp, it has a good feel and identity. It's what I would expect the show would look like if it was brought into the 3rd dimension and into the modern era. The characters seem very expressive, and I think there'll be no issues whatsoever with this new style. Speaking of characters though, it seems like we might have our new main cast. We have the Earth Pony, the Unicorn, and the Pegasus. Honestly, we know so little about these 3 just yet, but I'm really loving their designs. They look great, and I can't wait to see what they're actually like in character. Oh, and this guy's possibly a part of the main cast? Yeah, this could be the introduction of a male lead character for MLP. Now, MLP has always had a cast of female-led characters, which has been one of the charms of the show. So this could be a first to have a male character in a lead role for the show. Or it could be a situation kind of like what Spike was in Generation 4. An important character, and frankly, one of my personal favorites, who had plenty of screen time and even episodes dedicated to him, but wasn't really a lead role, so to speak. Of course, it's still way too early to tell, but I'm really curious to see where this goes. And my goodness, how am I only mentioning this now? But no cutie marks. Yeah, this honestly shocked me when I first noticed, but none of the characters we've seen so far have cutie marks. Of course, maybe it just means that these characters haven't gotten them yet because they're still young, or it could be that they'll be added later on in production. Not entirely sure, but it could also mean that cutie marks are just now a thing of the past. Being honest, I've always found them to be a bit strange. Sure, it was certainly a unique charm of the show, and a long-standing holdover in the series, but the idea of cutie marks never made much sense to me. Butt tattoos are not a sincere form of self-identity. After all, why do you need a symbol of self-expression on your flank in the first place? It's always been an odd thing to me, and frankly, I'm not all that sad to see it go. Pause. Okay, so hey, this is just me checking in during the editing stage of this video, but I actually took a closer look at the leaked images, and whoops, look at those cutie marks. Yeah, so from the looks of things, they're seemingly only appearing on one side of the character. Not entirely sure, but I just wanted to make mention of my mistake here. It looks like they still exist, but maybe only on one half of the character. But some things seem to have been brought over. Take a look at this. The characters' pins on their bag strap, the toys in the background, the posters and pictures and artwork all suggest that this world and the world of Generation 4 are things that happened some time ago in the world of Generation 5. The show could take place in a more modern Equestria. We don't really have many clues with this, but the room there feels modern, and hey, that's a lamp with a hoof switch, and those are strung lights hanging around the room as well, meaning electricity is common? Who knows? It looks and feels like. Will there be plenty of magical adventure still, or will the show be more down to earth and more slice of life? Or, and this is a fun one, there's a fan theory going around that the Generation 4 show is also just a show on TV in the Generation 5 world as well. And maybe these characters we see here are just fans of the show too. It's hard to say just yet, but I think this possibility is cool as well. Of course, and maybe I should have mentioned this earlier, but these leaks that we've been given are really for the upcoming movie arriving sometime in the near future. What the movie looks like and what the show will look like might be two totally different things. That being said, I imagine we'll get something similar to what we had with the MLP movie back in 2017. that movie looked, well, frankly, it looked gorgeous, and was miles ahead of what the show was producing in terms of visual quality. Which makes sense. The budget for the show would need to be astronomical if it was made with the same quality and attention to detail as the movie. And I'm not saying the Generation 4 show looked bad, far from it, but I mean, come on, it's really no comparison. So with my professional interpretation, I imagine Generation 5 show won't look nearly as good as this, and that's okay. Heck, it might not even be 3D animated. The point is, I'm sure it'll still look awesome nonetheless, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. But now, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about these new leaks, and Generation 5 in general? Are you excited for it? Maybe, hopefully optimistic? Let me know in the comment section below. I always love hearing. Marks are, in essence, a symbol that represents a pony's special talent, so what they're best at, and the symbol can literally mean anything. It's unique to each pony, and only ponies. Ponies get their cutie marks once they find their special talent, whatever that may be, and they usually get their cutie marks in their childhood, although there isn't an exact age and it's different for every pony. The important thing to make note of is that cutie marks are, in essence, a symbol that represents a character. It's who they are, it's what they're passionate about, it's what they're best at. So, what does your character enjoy doing? What are they most passionate about? Do they have a hobby or activity that they spend a lot of time doing? Remember, cutie marks are a symbol of the character's greatest talent. Everyone has a hobby or something that they enjoy doing with their time. Maybe it's video games or a favorite sport. Maybe they enjoy gardening. It could literally be anything. Knowing what your character enjoys doing most with their free time can turn into an excellent idea for a cutie mark. So ask yourself, what does my character enjoy doing the most? And what symbols or pictures come to mind when thinking of this favorite hobby of theirs? Any tools or objects that are strongly related to the activities? Perhaps there's a common mark